Hi, my name is Kyle Brandt. I'm a CIT student here at Dixie State University, and my senior project is that I wanted to create a VPN system and have another one also set up so that I can see how easy they are to set up and to see which one is faster, more reliable, and that. So that's what I've done. I've set up a Windows 10 machine and was able to get the built-in VPN system up and running on there. And then I've also used a company called DigitalOcean, set up a droplet. So I set up a computer, a Linux computer that was running Open VPN, where I was able to set up my machine, and that took a lot longer than I was expecting. It wasn't supposed to take that long, but I just couldn't get the system up and running as easily as I was hoping to from what I was reading and watching on YouTube. So I did have some difficulties using OpenVPN, but I did set up my server there in San Francisco, so it was pretty neat to see my IP change and be able to see that I'm browsing from San Francisco from what the world looks like to see. So that's my description and kind of about me. And I want to give a couple points, some main goals that I've had was to get both of the VPNs up and running, which I was able to do, which was one of my main core goals. Another one was just to start using it and seeing how reliable it was. And so I was able to do that. One of my hopes was to show my boss, and I did show him the Windows one. He wasn't too thrilled with it. He was just like, okay. But I guess we didn't really need it from his perspective in the workplace. One of my dream goals was to set up another VPN server and kind of compare all three of them. But like I said before, I did have issues with the Open VPN, and I'll kind of explain those. Setting up it on my local machine, I wasn't able to get it. And so I was wondering, maybe it's because I didn't have a public IP address coming in. And so I went with a company called DigitalOcean, and I saw them because I was watching a YouTube video that had set up an Open VPN, and they were able to set up pretty fast. And so I was like, okay, I'll be able to do that and start using it and being able to do my tests. I kept, so I configured it, set it up, and tried to connect to it. And it has a web-based interface to do the configuration. And so when I got there, I wasn't able to type in the IP address with the OpenVPN website address, and I would get a DNS. It was unable to resolve the DNS, and so I couldn't figure out. I kept Googling and reading all about it and watching videos. Everybody seemed to be having this issue. So I was like, okay, I'll just keep going and seeing if I can figure it out. It took me a while. I kept reading, and finally I was able to get it up and running, and it was a simple configuration that nobody else has had to do it for a while, and I guess something with DigitalOcean or something to that effect made it where you had to set your configuration to, it said what port or what interfaces do you want to be listening in, and we set it as the public IP address, which is the default. And so I'd do that and configure it, and nothing would happen. And finally, I read somebody said to configure it on all interfaces, and so I did that, and I was able to get it up and running, and it connects, and it works very well. It's slower than the Windows VPN, that is kind of one hassle. I'm wondering if I beef up the processor and RAM, and if that will cause it to work better, but I haven't done that. So that's just one of my thoughts on it. But configuring and everything, it was pretty simple once I got it to work correctly. It worked pretty fine. It worked well, and it wasn't too bad to configure after I learned that you had to set up that configuration to listen to all interfaces. And the Windows one, I really enjoyed. It was easy to set up and easy to use. I like it a lot. And that's the one I would pick out of all of them. Okay, so I have installed both of my VPNs on my iPhone so that I can connect when I'm away using my iPhone 6. And so this is the Windows VPN. I can go in here and click on connect. And you should see, just give me 1 second. You should see the VPN connection right there. Now I can just go out and go here. So check out the Chicago Blackhawks and see how they did last night. And they won, obviously, because they're the best. And so that's the Windows VPN. Now I will show you how the Open VPN. So I need to go in and disconnect from here. And then I'll go over, they have their own app that they use. So I've typed in all my information, so I can click there. It'll give me my duration, the packets received, bytes in and out. So now we can go here, we can check. We can check out Dixie State. It seems to be a little bit slower. But it does work. Let's see if we can get it going again. There. Okay, so we still do have the VPN up there, which is nice. So let's check out. Let's just go to Apple and see if it pulls up. Here it should. It was working earlier today, so just give me a few minutes and see if we can get it to go. And there we were able to get onto Apple. So it is a little bit slower. I have noticed the Windows VPN seems to be a little bit faster for me, but this one does work and it's fully encrypted. So it's nice. So this is the Open VPN on my iPhone 6s and also the Windows VPN using my iPhone. So I just wanted to kind of show my poster and just talk about the hours that I spent on this project. I spent at least 145 to 150 hours configuring and using the VPN, both VPNs, the Windows and the Open VPN. I'd say I use most of that time was researching on using Open VPN. Like I said, I did have that difficulty trying to get it up and running, and everywhere I read that it was saying that it wasn't, that they couldn't get it to work either, and so it was once I found that thread that said to use all ports, I was able to get it up and running, and it works like a champ. And so I have spent a long time working on this project. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how VPNs work and why people use them, and the different kinds of ways you can do it using Windows or using Linux. They both are pretty awesome. I would choose Windows for those that are setting up home VPNs. They're a lot easier to set up, I would say, and they don't require as much attention of getting all the details worked out right away. It prompts you with the steps to go for it. As OpenVPN, I didn't have as easy setting it up and configuration. But with it, I was able to set both of them up, and so I was very pleased that I was able to get them up and running, and did some tests and saw that Windows was a lot faster on it, and that OpenVPN is still worked and everything. It wouldn't be my first choice on it, but it was very neat to see the two differences in them and how they can configure it. OpenVPN has lots of configurations that you can use and set using that web portal and being able to set what you want with it. And so that was just my conclusion that Windows VPN is better if you're going to set up one for home or small business. OpenVPN, you could use it for small business. I wouldn't suggest it really for a home users. I would try using a different one like Windows to get it up and running. And I was very pleased in that I was able to get them done, because that towards the middle of the semester to almost to the end, I wasn't able to get OpenVPN, and I was getting very frustrated with Linux and with trying to set it up. But I was able to get it up and running, and I'm very pleased with it. And it's been nice to be able to use it as well as the Windows one, just to compare speeds and just to compare on which one is a little bit easier to use. I like how OpenVPN has their own apps that you use to connect, so it's really easy to connect for end users, super easy to use. Windows, you have to set up a VPN connection, but once you do that, it's not too hard for an end user as well to connect. And that's my project. Thanks so much. Bye.